Look closely at this border on the map. On one side, bright lights and busy ports. On the other, dim villages and empty roads. The land itself is almost identical. Same soil, same rivers, same sky above. So why is one side rich and the other poor? The answer is not in the dirt. It is in the lines humans drew across it, and in the choices made on each side. This is the strangest pattern in modern geography. Start with the most famous example in the world. The Korean Peninsula shares one mountain spine and one climate. Yet at night, satellites reveal a startling split. South Korea blazes with light, while the north stays nearly black. The land did not change here. The rules above the land did. Both Koreas began the 1950s extremely poor. Both were shattered by the same brutal war. Then they chose opposite paths in governance. One opened to trade, the other sealed itself shut. South Korea joined global supply chains for ships and chips. Its ports faced the Pacific and welcomed foreign investment. The North chose isolation and central planning instead. Its harbors went quiet and its factories slowly rusted. Within 50 years, the gap became enormous. Same peninsula, same people, but vastly different worlds emerged. The mountains in both Koreas hold similar minerals underground. The fields receive the same monsoon rains each summer. But one side built export industries facing the sea. The other built walls facing nearly everyone outside. Now move west to a smaller, sharper example. The island of Hispaniola sits in the warm Caribbean. It holds two countries on one piece of land, Haiti on the west, Dominican Republic on the east. They share mountains, beaches, and tropical rainfall patterns. Yet their economies look almost nothing alike today. Fly over the border and you see it instantly. Lush green forest on one side, bare brown hills on the other. Haiti has cut most of its trees for cooking fuel. The Dominican Republic protected forests through national parks. Trees hold soil, soil holds water, water grows food. One choice quietly shaped two very different futures. The Dominican Republic also welcomed tourism early on. Resorts, airports, and roads soon followed the coast. Haiti faced coups, debt, and repeated natural disasters. Investments stayed away, and the economy stayed thin. Same island, same hurricanes, very different outcomes today. Geography set the stage, but humans wrote the script. Now cross the Atlantic to a stranger case. A look at the small town of Barle on the Belgium and Netherlands border. Here the border zigzags through houses and quiet cafes. A bakery can sit half in each country. A bakery can sit half in each country. Tax rules differ by just a few meters. Shops sometimes move their front doors to save money. Same street, same customers, same daily weather. Yet small rule changes shift entire businesses sideways here. It is a tiny laboratory of how borders shape wealth. Zoom out to Central Europe for a bigger version. For decades, one wall split the city of Berlin. West Berlin connected to markets, capital, and global trade. East Berlin lived under planning, quotas, and constant shortages. Same German people, same language, same gentle river. Even today, decades after reunification, the old line still shows. Eastern wages continue to lag Western ones on the map. The lane never moved an inch in any direction. The invisible economic border left a long shadow. Travel south to another telling pair of places. Look at Nogales, split between Arizona and Mexico. The same desert sun beats on both halves daily. The same dust, cactus, and mountains surround them. But income on the U.S. side is far higher. Schools, hospitals, and roads differ sharply across the line. Economists love this small town for one big reason. It isolates institutions from climate and geography almost perfectly. When everything natural is equal, rules do the heavy lifting. Property law, courts, and stable money matter enormously. So what is the deeper pattern hiding here? Wealth grows where rules are predictable and trade flows freely. It grows where contracts are enforced fairly, where roads, ports, and power reach ordinary working people. Geography still matters, of course, in many ways. Coasts, rivers, and flat land give a real edge. But two neighbors with the same coast can diverge. The rulebook decides who actually uses the advantage. Think of geography as the stage of a play. Institutions are the actual play performed upon it. A great stage with a bad play still flops. A modest stage with a brilliant play can shine. Consider another quiet example down in Africa. Botswana and Zimbabwe share a long, dry, dusty border. Both have similar landscapes and mineral wealth underground. Both inherited colonial borders and very tough histories. Botswana built steady courts and careful government spending. Diamond revenue-funded schools, clinics, and reliable rural roads. Zimbabwe took a different path with currency and farms. Hyperinflation erased savings and scared foreign investors away. Today, incomes in Botswana sit far above its neighbor. Same region, same minerals, but opposite outcomes for citizens. Now pause for a quiet moment and think, would you ever live right on a border like these? Watching one side bloom while the other struggles? Tell me in the comments which split fascinates you most. I read them, and your stories often shape future videos. Back to the pattern, because there is much more to see. Singapore and parts of nearby Malaysia share the same straits. Both sit on a key global shipping lane today. Both have humid jungle and frequent tropical storms. Singapore turned its tiny island into a trade hub. Clean ports, strict rules, and open markets attracted capital. Its neighbor grew well too, but at a different pace. Small policy gaps compounded into large income gaps. Singapore had almost no fresh water of its own. It built reservoirs and treaties to solve that problem. It had no farmland, no oil, no real minerals. Yet ships, banks, and chips made it a powerhouse. There is a quiet lesson hiding in all these pairs. Wealth is less about resources than about reliability and trust. Oil-rich nations sometimes stay poor for many decades. Resource-poor nations sometimes become global leaders. Japan has few minerals and shaky ground beneath it, yet it built one of the world's largest economies. Meanwhile, some neighbors with richer soil stayed economically stuck. Stability, education, and open trade did the real work. Look again at the divided cases on a satellite map. A pattern emerges that geography alone cannot fully explain. Borders are not just lines for armies and fences. They are also lines where rulebooks suddenly change. Cross one, and suddenly your money buys different things. Your job pays differently. Your child learns differently. The same wind blows freely across both sides, but the wind does not carry rules or laws. This is why two villages can sit a kilometer apart. They can live in different centuries entirely today. One has paved roads, the other still has dust. One has reliable power, the other has candles. The land itself never asked for this difference. People asked for it through their daily decisions. Of course, geography is not powerless in this story. Landlocked countries often struggle more than coastal ones. Mountainous interiors are harder to connect and develop fully. Deserts and frozen zones thin out populations and markets. But within those constraints, choices still matter most. Switzerland is landlocked and mountainous, yet remarkably wealthy. It built tunnels, banks, and treaties to overcome terrain. Geography set the limits, but humans pushed against them. Look at Ireland and Britain across a narrow sea, both small, rainy islands with similar farmland and skies. For centuries, Ireland was poorer and steadily lost people. Then it joined the European market and changed tax rules. Within decades, Dublin became a tech and finance hub. The land stayed wet and green, but rulebooks changed. Or compare Costa Rica with some of its neighbors. Similar forests, similar coffee, similar tropical weather around. Costa Rica abolished its army back in the 1940s. It poured the saved money into schools and parks. Today, its incomes and life expectancy lead the region. The mountains did not move, but priorities did. Look at Estonia and parts of its eastern neighbors. Similar flat terrain, similar forests, similar long, cold winters. Estonia digitized its government and embraced open markets early. It now ranks among Europe's most innovative economies. The Baltic coastline did not magically grow longer. The rulebook simply welcomed a faster, more connected future. Consider also the Iberian Peninsula and Morocco across water. The strait between them is only about 14 kilometers wide. Yet incomes differ by several times across that gap. Same fishing waters, same sun, very different economies. Why? Different histories of trade, law, and political stability. The water itself is utterly neutral about wealth. So when you see a stark border on the satellite image, remember what you are truly looking at. You are seeing two different sets of rules. You are seeing two stories told on one stage. You are seeing the long memory of past decisions. Decisions about trade, law, schools, and basic trust. The dirt on each side is exactly the same. The dreams growing in that dirt are different. This is the quiet truth of economic geography today. Place matters, but policy often matters even more. A good map shows you mountains, rivers, and coastlines. A deeper map would also show institutions clearly. It would shade countries by court reliability and trade openness. That map would predict wealth better than climate. It would show why neighbors diverge so sharply over time, and why some divides close while others widen. Notice too that these gaps are not permanent destiny. South Korea was once poorer than Ghana decades ago. Singapore was a struggling port with few real options. Ireland set millions abroad searching for any work. All three rewrote their rulebooks within a generation. The land stayed the same, but the future changed. That is the most hopeful part of this whole story. No border condemns a place forever to poverty. Choices made now ripple outward for many decades ahead. Today's policies become tomorrow's satellite light patterns. The reverse is also true and worth remembering. Wealthy places can slowly decline through poor choices. History is full of once rich regions that faded. Trade routes shift, institutions weaken, talent quietly leaves. So the lesson cuts both ways across every border. Nothing is fixed forever in economic geography today. Think of Argentina 100 years ago. It ranked among the wealthiest nations on earth then. Its pampas grew wheat. Its ports shipped beef worldwide. Its pampas grew wheat. Its ports shipped beef worldwide. Yet decades of unstable policy slowly eroded that lead. Meanwhile, distant places once dismissed as backwaters rose. Taiwan, South Korea, and Vietnam climbed steadily upward. The land in Argentina did not lose fertility overnight. The rulebook simply changed direction many times. This is why economists watch institutions so closely. They are the slow, invisible engine behind every map. Good courts protect the small shop owner. Stable money lets families save for the future. Open ports let ideas and goods flow inward. These quiet forces shape what a border really means. If you enjoyed this walk along the world's strangest borders, drop a comment naming a divided place you want next. And if you want more videos on how the world really works, subscribe and tap the bell to follow along. Because in the end, the lines on our maps are not just lines on paper. They are choices, quietly shaping the lives lived on either side of them.